and he's just sitting there kind of quietly. You think maybe he's like, you know, getting comfortable and like maybe dozing off or whatever. And you know, like a mama bear does, you're just like watching him. And eventually he kind of puts his walking stick over his lap and he kind of leans forward and he looks as if he's looking directly at you, even though you're fairly certain he's blind. And he says, "Hello."
Cougar doesn't say anything.
He says, "No need to be rude, dearie. This is just me. I've come to see what the medical bay is like. I have not visited it yet."
Still staring at him.
He kinda,
unsure why he's here.
yeah, and he kind of like motions to the table, and he says, "There is another. Chan, looks like, feels like."
No response.
Yeah. And again, he see him kind of smile his big toothy grin, right? And he's missing a few teeth, and it's kind of that almost hobo style smile grin. And he says, "Ah, yes, he is injured. I can feel that. Gravely, it seems. What will you do?"
She stares at him and she just says, "He wouldn't be here if you helped us, instead of sitting in your room doing nothing."
I think he kind of shakes his head, perhaps a bit sadly, and he says, "Help? Well, there are different definitions of how we help. Do you really believe that I..." And he kind of like, you know, does the like hold his arms out and like look at me kind of posture. He's like, "Do you believe that I could be in any assistance in a fight? I am but a frail old man."
And you must think I'm an idiot.
Quite the contrary. I believe you to be the smartest one on this ship, besides me, of course.
Coco laughs at that, but it kind of comes out as like a laugh sob.
Yeah. And I think he says, "And, while you would never admit it, perhaps the most caring as well. Even more than that doctor." You're not smart enough to take offense.
That's probably true.
Damn.
Well, I did not put much into intelligence.
I think it was a dump stat.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, he says the most caring out of everybody, including the doctor.
Yeah, I think at that she would just be done with this conversation. She's like, "Why are you here?"
To observe, ensure that there is, well, a focus for the pain. You will need to be angry. You have been angry in the past. I can tell. Your room is still torn up.
Takes a moment. It's like, "You've been in my room?" And then just shakes it off. Like, what?
He also, how would he know that? He can't see.
Yeah, exactly. Like, she has a brief moment of, "What?" And then she's just like...
Yeah, and I think he says, "It's a shame. He was going to fix it for you. Once you were better. Also, he knows." And he just kind of like, again, he's been like kind of looking around, but then when he says that, he like looks at you directly. You're pretty sure you know what he's talking about.
I mean, they're just staring him down, but obviously that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, right, yeah. Staring at him,
And she kind of just shakes her head because she realizes how stupid it is that she's doing that. And
right, totally.
She's just like, can you please just leave?"
I think he sighs and he says, "Perhaps. But not for your benefit, but for his.
All I care about is his benefit now.
Yeah, and I think that he creaks up, and you see him grab a stick, and he begins tapping it across the floor. And when he gets to the door, he kind of turns his head and talks over his shoulder. He says, "And that is the problem, isn't it? Perhaps we should care more about ourselves." And before you can respond, he just kind of takes his steps out, and the door closes behind you.
She stares at the door for a while, and then she just puts her head back down.
Yeah. And then I assume a few moments later, Dr. Fisher re-enters. But, Fortune, what have you been doing this whole time? I mean, you've been coordinating the offloads, right? But you've had some time after that.
I would assume that's far done.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure. I've probably looked in the medical bay once or twice just to make sure Gogo hasn't tried killing herself.
Or everybody else.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm probably trying to occupy myself with things to do on the ship. So I've probably wrapped duct tape around things that needs to be fixed, but
Sure.
not actually fixing anything.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how.
Yeah. Just for fun, roll me a tech astronautics roll with intelligence. We'll see how well your duct tape zip tie effect is taking.
Yeah.
Your marine function. Not bad. It's a basic success. So
Okay.
you are able to get the systems.
It's not pretty.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
It's not pretty, and it won't hold probably for until actual maintenance can be done.
Mm-hmm.
But you get all of at least the systems up and running again.
Yeah.
Um,
and it actually, now that you do mention that, I probably do try to find out somewhere if there's somewhere to get maintenance done to the ship here or somewhere close.
Yeah, so there is definitely somewhere to get maintenance done on Dakani. Remember, they have fighter ship races. There's definitely repair. There's definitely repair services and tons of that around. You probably could shop around, to be honest, for that kind of thing.
I'd like to see if there's someone who can come to where we are to fix the ship. Because right now we have money. Well, we need the monthly maintenance done, and other stuff done as well.
Yeah, and also who knows how much money you might have to pay in the foreseeable future for, medical reasons.
Yeah.
So that's also a thing.
Or people will have to kill so we don't owe money for medical
sure.
things.
Sure. So, yes. You were doing that. You could definitely find a couple of options. Most of it you find is higher than standard rate because there's a bunch of fucking it's a planet of pirates and warlords and scumbags. But you can definitely find one at standard rate that you could try and bargain down on a good business check.
I would like to do that.
Yeah, so you probably call somebody up and a woman answers the phone, and she's like, "Yeah, this is Junkrat Supply. What can I do for you?"
Hi, I've got an Apollo class freighter that I need just the regular monthly maintenance done, and then we've run into some a couple small problems that I'd like to have someone take a look at and fix.
Yeah, and you need me to come to you? House calls are expensive.
If you can.
Well, I charge a standard rate. Is that acceptable?
I mean, it's not that bad. Our ship is well kept, and everything is labeled well. So I think maybe cut us a little break.
And I gotta come to you? Man, you're pulling my leg here. Roll a business check though. It's gonna be harder because
I'd say well, it's all in cash.
Yeah, okay. All right, a 7. Yeah. So she's probably like, all right, how about this? I'll come out there. I'll do the best patch job I can. Maybe shave a few bucks out for you.
That sounds good. And like I said, it's all cash. So.
All right, send me your coordinates. I'll have a team come with me.
Bink.
Yeah,
Send.
Right. Yeah, and they'll be there a little later today to kind of fix up the ship and see what's going on with it. Is there anything else in particular that you are going to take care of?
Right now, I think Fortune is is waiting for orders, I guess would be the best way to put it.
Yeah, you're a man who takes.
He knows I'm not the one to make the next decision, but I'm waiting for someone to make that next decision.
So I can be useful.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and that's like we see that play out in your head as you're waiting, right? You're like tapping your fingers, waiting for next orders.
I've probably gone through and cleaned all my guns.
Yeah, absolutely.
And probably cleaned both motorcycles.
Right. Yeah, totally. You're doing the waiting game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we flash over to.
I probably looked at the cargo bay with all the blood, and I came in with like a bucket and a rag, and looked around, and just kind of walked back out with the bucket and rag.
Yeah. Like, nah, not today. Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we flash over to Dr. Fisher re-entering the med bay. Do you just go about business as usual, Dr. Fisher, or are you going to make some sort of announcement / decision here? You thought you might get help from Oscar, but you currently have 0.
Yes.
There is no help to be had from that.
Thanks. Thank you, Oscar, by the way.
Thanks for making me tell you the state secrets and then also checking out and not giving me any valuable input. Appreciate that.
No, if you didn't ask anything of Oscar in terms of his opinion, like...
I mean, you GTFO.
Yeah, I think we were just mostly joking with you.
No, I didn't leave the room. I just, like... If you asked him...
if you wanted to ask him, Dr. Fisher, you could totally ask for some opinions.
When I said he was, like, done, that what I meant was, like, he said at the time, Chan comes first, let's talk about this again. If you want to have further conversation with him about this, he's still there.
Want. Or you can just... Well, no, you actually... this is where it was confusing. You said go talk to Gogo. So that's where I thought the conversation ended. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because you specifically said, like, go talk to Gogo.
Well, I mean, I guess I didn't mean it that...
Not right now,
serious.
But eventually...
He totally still could have been like, well, if I had to choose, what would you choose? Before he left, obviously.
I'm not trying to justify it. If you want to have a further conversation, go for it. I don't care. This is
what I meant was, like, see what her opinion is, not, like, go make a firm decision right this second. Well, it depends what information he gives to you and what else might happen in the meantime. But
I think I would ask you before speaking with Gogo, if you had to choose right now of those 3 options, what would you think? We've done enough. The gamble at the planet in this solar system, or the more reliable, quote unquote.
Yeah, air quote. Heavy bolded air quote.
Yeah. The most quote unquote reliable chance of survival on Yuri Pylos.
He says, if we're not even certain that he'd be lucid, do we want to go through... So do we want to go through him dying again? How certain are you that this would work?
If we kept him in stasis all the way to Yuri Pylos, then I can almost confirm that he will have that, as I said, he will definitely be technically alive in some way or form.
He like takes a long breath and he says, I I think that our best bet is to see what's on Nicaea. I don't want to speak for Gogo, but I don't know that having him somewhat back is going to be any consolation. Drawing this out and having an imperfect result might be worse than letting him go. She's already spent the entire time that she's been in contact with him trying to fix him. I don't know that we need to lump more onto that.
Indeed. Well, we should at least get the opinion from herself.
Because Nicaea is close. If she wants to do it, we can find out what their capabilities are quick enough. Maybe we can still investigate.
Yes.
A couple hours might be a drop in a bucket compared to the trip all the way back to Eurypylos.
That's very true, and we would still need to get the supplies anyway if we are to go to Eurypylos. So
he says, Fisher, I understand the magnitude of what you shared with me. It's not lost.
then you know, should it ever be known, then there is more than just a price on my head.
How can you even risk putting Chan through this?
I don't like to lose. Let's just leave it at that.
Would he want this?
Asking what Chan
Would
wants is a deep question.
Yeah. It's like, would
Does he understand
anyone
what that means?
want this? Would I want this?
A lot of people are scared by death, so I'm sure that changing your own physical characteristics for an extended lifespan is something some people would certainly do.
I see.
Oh, this is...
It's heavy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say two heavy episodes in a row here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, kind of knew that coming into this one, but...
Well, yeah. Well, things have gotten heavier based on new information revealed.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of morality questions, right, to talk about, like, you know, how far is too far? And then that's why even before we had this conversation, because I had a feeling this was going to come up, obviously. That's why I said the name of the episode is The Cost of a Life, right? Like,
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing you haven't asked for Fortune's opinion about it now.
right, Fortune, I know what Fortune's opinion would be. I'll just end it right here. Like, it'll be painless. He'll never even know what hit him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that seems...
We should see. But pretty much.
I mean,
it's not too far off.
Euthanation is totally a legitimate strategy here, right? Like, again, the cost of a life. What is it worth?
Yeah. That's why we have 3 options.
Yeah.
So-
right.
Done enough is the first one.
Oscar says, indulge me. Chan he does not have the gift as well, God, what was her name? Raquel has gotten me to calling it.
Yeah, true. She did call it that.
Has this been tested on those already with MES?
Actually, I'm just gonna say this one out. Remember, it's not really a test, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just making sure you remember that portion of the story. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
This hasn't been documented in any proper scientific caliber. This is more a thing that happens because that is how it is.
We've come this far. Could you explain?
It seems that the original contractors of this certain mutation can either totally devour a person, or they can inject it inside of them, and it will then forcibly mutate the living into the mutated state.
And once it's administered, then what?
Then it seems it depends on the person themselves whether they resist the, I guess, most justifiable thing to call it would be hunger, and remain the semblance of humanity, or to become no more than a feral monster.
Hmm. God damn it. He said, so who elects to do this? You say it's undocumented, but you speak as if you know the consequences quite well.
Well, it is my ultimate life's goal to research this and change it, perhaps. But
So it's just not well enough understood at present? Or what?
That would
I
be a
guess
good
you
answer.
could.
Yeah.
yeah, of course, the leaders of Europylos do not want to give any idea that they know that this is happening on such their medical factory, and so they just keep the city safe and as best they can, and try to ignore the people that have mutated.
The ice miner is slightly less safe, by the way, in case you think back to that moment where you were wondering why they had guns. Yes, Matt.
I suppose time is of the essence. Perhaps we should call everyone in. Perhaps not. Your bedside manner is inarguably better than mine. And he kind of like punches you in the shoulder. Like he's trying to like
Lighten the mood.
Yeah, like he's coming back a little bit, and he's trying to like.
Although you punched me in my injured shoulder, which
no, other one. No. Like, because I'm sure your lab coat is like still totally stained with blood.
Oh yeah, no.
So he'd like
it's ruined.
He's not aiming to torture you.
He's not Fortune, all right.
Yeah, he jabs a armored finger into the bullet hole and tells you to get on with it.
Just rips to the left a little bit.
He shoots you in the other shoulder and tells you to get over it.
Hey, you remember that one time I shot you in the foot, Matt? Yeah, it was basically.
Both toes. Yes.
Yeah.
Moving right along.
Yeah.
Back to the story at hand.
Yeah. So
we were so close to Fortune's fortune.
So close to it.
And now so far away.
Everyone to the med bay.
Including Fortune, because like, again, I'll just remind you, like you told Oscar, right? Are you going to give that to the rest of the crew as well, or is
Oscar
that
sure is not gonna say a word about that. Like he gave his word. Any conversation from just to be clear, any conversation from here on out is whatever Fisher gives the others.
Yeah, and that's what I'm asking. Like, are you gonna be like, I know I can save him on Yuri Pylos, but we could take a chance here?
Yeah, more. I'm not going to tell the others of the zombie outbreak.
Yeah. Totes.
So yes, it's if we manage to get enough supplies, we could go to Yuri Pylos and he will definitely be saved, but he may not be 100% himself.
Right. Which can be translated into he's got brain damage, right? Like.
Yeah.
Yes. Totally. 100%. So yeah, all that is dropped on you guys. Like, if we can go find supplies, we can get him to Yuri Pylos, and then we can definitely save him, but it may not be. He may not be Chan anymore.
Have we? Did we even bother offloading the rest of the supplies?
Yeah, no, Devin took care of that. Don't worry. He's keeping track of the crew's missions.
No, that's what I am worried about. Because if we hadn't done that, we could just leave.
Well, yeah, you absolutely can just leave right now. You have no more supplies on the ship.
Everything's been unloaded. We've been paid for what we unloaded.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So our business on this planet is done.
What I was getting at is if we still had a crate of medical supplies,
that's gone.
Made this actually simpler.
Well, the medical. Remember, it was actually wasn't supplies; it was equipment. And the thing that you need is very specific, and might actually be hard to find on this planet. But luckily, there's a flea market planet right next door.
Yeah,
there is.
That might have what you need,
or might have what they call what we need.
Exactly. I'm glad Devin's catching on to how this place works. Oh yes, yeah, we got that stuff right here. Look,
totally.
Opens his coat to see it.
You said it's a blue liquid in a vial, right? Yeah, as he's dropping blue food dye into
some guy has inside of his coat a bunch of syringes with what appears to be multiple different types of food coloring and water.
Yeah.
One of the bottles says Colgate on it, but that's been scratched off vigorously.
It says Splisterine.
Splisterine.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, so Fisher Stages fishers.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think like you're all sitting there, Go-Go's like resting head on Chan, Fortune's doing like the cross arm lean against the window or whatever. Oscar is maybe hands behind the back, like standing off to the side. And Fortune, Dr. Fisher, you tell them about, like, all right, well, the three options, right? Yeah, like, have we done enough? Is it worth it to invest money into keeping him in stasis to, like, save him, right? Like, I don't know how hard line you go with that, with Go-Go in the room, but that's totally up to you. Like, I don't know how bedside mannery you
I feel like I need
get.
to know exactly how
Yeah,
to say it.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Otherwise,
So, like,
I can't react appropriately.
Yeah. So how do you propose the three options to the group, right?
Okay. Our first option, one of the planets in this solar system, it is said to have strange medical technologies which may or may not be able to help Chan. And that's, of course, if we even get their help in the first place. Our second option is obviously to go to Eurypylos, where I can almost guarantee that Chan will survive in some way, but of course with this type of injury he may not be 100% himself, but of course to do that we would need considerable amount of stims to keep him stable in the journey. So, and it is not just a small amount, so finding the quantity will be a difficult task. But, of course, we have done as much as we can by ourselves, so we may leave it at that if we wish.
How much?
We would probably need at least 2,000 credits worth to be on the safe side.
It's done. It's fine.
Yes.
Again, it's finding it that's the problem.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Because I already knew Go-Go would. Yep, if it's my new combat arms that I've just been installed is the cost, then I'm giving those away.
if it's my arms is the cost, I'm giving them away. Forget the combat arms. I'd probably I'd say if the options are maybe fix Chan, most probably fix Chan but not have it be Chan, or say bye to Chan, aren't the best of the three options to possibly get him fixed and have him maybe kind of sort of be Chan. Because if we get him most probably fixed but he's not Chan, we're still saying goodbye to Chan. So what's the point?
Well, the technology on
Nicaea.
the planets in this system may not bring him back 100% as well. It's just that.
Yeah, the major issue there is figuring out if that actually is even an option. You have very, very baseless rumors, and also getting the assistance, and also how much is that going to cost, right? Like, how much is this special medical procedure going to cost when you get there, if you can find somebody to do it that's willing to do it.
Okay.
Right.
So now our three options are...
Yeah, and if that
Chan
doesn't...
will be fixed, maybe, but he won't be Chan. Chan will be fixed most probably, but he won't be Chan. Or
Yeah.
Chan's dead, so he's not Chan.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of correct. Yeah, and so like the other issue is if you go and investigate Nasia, and it takes you X amount of time, that's X amount of supplies that you're going to be wasting just sitting here trying to figure out if you can fix Chan.
Yeah.
Which means you have to buy even more stim to get to Yuri Pylos for this option number 2. And then if you buy a whole bunch of stim, spend the time to go to Yuri Pylos, get there, and something very badly goes wrong as it flashes through Oscar's brain of having to, you know, do a thing he probably doesn't want to do, then, you know, the cost of a life.
Yeah, I'd probably, well, does Gogo say anything to that?
So you can tell that Gogo's like weighing the options in her mind, and you know, to her, all she heard was, "Can most definitely help," and Yuri Pylos.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really all she needed to hear, and she doesn't know any of the rest of it. So in her mind, her decision is already made, and you're all still talking for no reason.
Right, yeah.
Okay, at that point, I'd probably walk over to, like, right next to you and, like, make sure you're looking at me somehow. And I'd be like, Gogo, I've seen this happen before. He's not gonna come back. Even if he lives, he's not gonna be Chan anymore.
She like stares you dead in the face and says, "Well, then what will you have me do?"
Say goodbye now.
Do we roll for initiative?
She stands up. No, she literally stands up and like gets inches from your face, which is difficult because she's short.
He
And
mentioned
just-
he was crouched down. You're
he
fine.
said he was crouching.
Yeah.
And just says, "No."
Then you're gonna have to say bye later, and it's gonna be worse. Trust me.
You're not a doctor. You don't know.
I don't have to be a doctor to see this happen.
She like sits back down and just says, "We're going to Yuri Pylos. You all can get out now."
Yeah. And truthfully, the lifetime mercenary does make a valid point here. He's definitely seen shit before like this, and it's definitely gone all of these ways, and the conversations have been had, and it hasn't worked out. You know, that's not to say that it won't work out this time, but yeah, no, I like that. I really like that aspect there of, like, you know, the wise Fortune, right? So we don't see that a whole lot with Fortune. Like, we see the kind of playful, kind of joking Fortune, and then the kind of, like, brooding Fortune, but, like, the straight up, like, listen, I've dealt with this, like, the kind of backdrop of Fortune's background, right? Like,
Yeah.
the listen, I've been on planets you've never even heard of, and had friends, like, literally die in my arms, cursing my name. You know, like,
Yeah.
like, there's shit here that you don't want to open up because you'll end up like me, right? Like, that's the implication, right? You'll end up a husk like me, is kind of the implication there. So that's really cool.
You'll end up either death or drink.
Right. Yeah.
And,
And Fortune does a little bit of both.
well, because it's either death or drink.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Kill things.
I only
and
do
drink.
one or the other.
Right. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Cool. So moving along. Oscar, you've heard the opinion of your pilot, who hiring another pilot would be easy enough on this planet.
Actually, you make a very good point there.
I mean, it's a true story. You could find
leave
another
her
pilot
with the
pretty
race
easily.
car.
That she immediately crashes into a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the race car has a
No.
spike drive.
What? I did not know this.
I mean, technically to fly through space, you need a spike drive.
I didn't know race cars flew through space.
Yeah, well, okay, a race ship.
Okay.
But yeah, no. But again, I think that there is some investment from other people, like, you know, it's possible Dr. Fisher does have some investment in this, because selfishly, and I'm just going to throw this out there, like, it may actually help your research, Dr. Fisher, right? Like,
Yeah.
this is actually kind of monumental for that. You could literally watch it happen, which is something that you've never done before, right? I don't know how Oscar's really feeling, though.
I don't think he's going to voice an opinion here, because doing so would require him to expand on things that he explicitly told Fisher wouldn't leave their conversation.
Right, totally.
So he's recused of this. So
just for clarity's sake, for our little window into your mind, Oscar, is it that moment in TV shows and movies where, like, you're sitting there and you're waiting for the decision to happen, and you don't want to hear what you're about to hear? You know what it's going to be anyway. You know that person's going to vote that way, and that's what you're going to end up doing. But you're like, with the fiber of your being, you're like, please don't let it be that. And then, like, when the words "we're going to Yuri Pylos" happen, like, do you just do the eye close and, like, the deep, like, inhalation of breath, like, okay, I guess we're doing that?
No, like, he wants to see this, but I think he probably feels guilty.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So it's like maybe it's the sigh of relief followed immediately by, oh wait, like,
no, he's not contributing because he maybe doesn't trust his own motivations.
Ah, okay. The crisis of character.
Yeah. In addition to all of this, right. Like, he doesn't know what's best, and after learning this, he is maybe not impartial enough.
Sure.
Like, for one, not impartial enough, and, like, is also uncertain of what the best course of action would be, even if he were.
Right. Yeah, so for the gander around the room, we have Fortune, who basically knows that a bullet's going to have to go in someone's head eventually, and he just knows it's not going to be his, right? That's like, that's how it's going to be eventually. And then we have Gogo, who is just, like, firm, devout, this will fix him. Like, I know it will. Like, I feel it in my being that this will fix him. You said it would fix him, so we're going to go fix him. There's Dr. Fisher, who's like, this is the biggest risk I've ever taken, but it might be beneficial to me too, for selfish reasons. And then there's the crisis of morality, right? A little bit with Oscar, who's, weighing the options, and, like, this is something that is once in a millennia, like, lifetime, able to be seen or witnessed. Like, I don't know if I trust myself to make this decision, because I don't know, like, and maybe, Oscar, is it you don't know what you would want somebody to do with you? Like, is that also kind of in play here? Like, if it were you lying on the table, is that kind of maybe where it's coming from?
That's probably... Oscar is considering volunteering for this alive.
Yeah, totally.
Sorry.
Totally.
Of all things,
so,
I thought Oscar would say that is not one of them. But that's,
like,
that's interesting.
The possibility that this is, like, this is tapping into, like, for him, this is some seriously bad mojo, and, like, at this point in time, he's really conflicted about the information that this is even a possibility, like, that someone could continue existing as basically a feral psychic. That's, like, for, it was discussed in terms of muggles, normies wanting to extend their lifespan.
Yeah.
He has all manner of other opinions on the matter.
Yeah, totally.
Like, everyone knows what, I think revenge for Oscar is a minor driving force compared to his wanting to be the best. So this is a revelation for him.
Yeah, totally. You could be the very best.
Or he could
you
like
could go
single-handedly,
fucking insane.
Yeah, he could be single-handedly destroying
Cities.
Cities.
Yeah, totally.
Without remembering his own name. So.
Yeah. Or even like what you are.
Like there are multiple supplements written for Stars Without Numbers about feral psychics.
Uh-huh.
So it's like it's bad news if you are truly without your wits and have that amount of power.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure somewhere it says I get control of your character, so that's also good.
No. That's
a whole nother reason
of potential exit strategy. Just out of character completely. Exit strategies for Oscar include just torching him and letting Jordan have his way.
Yep.
But that is neither here nor there at the moment.
That might also end up with a bullet to the brain.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Fortune knows that someone is getting a bullet to their brain, and he just knows it's not going to be him.
Fortune would have his work cut out for him, but yes.
Yeah.
It'd be a good epic battle.
Good lord.
That would be an interesting way to end the arc.
It is. Oscar is not weighing an opinion, and it is for reasons that the crew is perhaps blissfully unaware.
Yeah.
Or perhaps reasons that Oscar is like, he hasn't like fully come to terms with it yet.
Reasons he maybe doesn't want to admit to himself even.
Yeah, there you go. That's good. So I think the final scene is we see the ship careening towards the third planet in the system, which is Adrastus, and Adrastus is the flea market planet, right? Because the crew's first mission, basically, here's the deal. You have enough stim currently to keep Chan active for 36 hours.
Yeah.
Basically, 36 hours from now, I'll give you a little benefit. 36 hours from right in this moment, so start of next session, basically. In that amount of time, if you don't locate any more stim to keep him inactive, he will come to life, or he will, stop being in stasis, and whatever natural function would occurs. So, a couple of very important discovery / business roles upcoming, I assume.
This should be interesting because I don't know if Fortune will be willing to make those business roles.
Yeah,
so.
That's a good point. It will be interesting. And so next week will be The Cost of a Life, Day 2 and beyond. Right? Any final words from anybody?
Is this the first session where we haven't even gone through 24 hours worth of time?
That definitely occurred, I think, when we were underground. At least once. Yeah. At least once, I think that occurred.
It's pretty rare. It's pretty rare.
Is.
This is a complete RP within 24-hour sessions. So.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Giant character stuff occurred, so. On all ends of the spectrum.
How does Gogo feel about this entire situation now?
Well, I mean, Gogo only heard that Chan can be saved, right?
Yeah, I think Gogo right now is running on hope.
Yeah, hope and ignorance, right, Megan?
Yeah.
You know, pretty much. Yeah, she doesn't know that he could turn into some horrible being. You just told her that you could absolutely fix him if we got to Eurypylus, so that's what's happening.
No. He said.
Matt, what I heard
Right,
yeah, no,
was...
But the,
I said what I
phrasing,
said
no,
for
the
a reason.
phrasing is very important there. What Gogo understands and what Fisher said are very different things.
I believe that is true, yes.
And I do think someone tried to drive that home.
But I also think that she's ready to rip your throat out if you say it again. So that should be fun.
Same.
So the beginning of next episode should be interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you stop her from trying to get those, she will try to kill you, and then you will kill her. So that'll happen.
I may not try to stop you, but, well, I have some decisions to weigh over the next week.
Yeah, indeed. I think we all do.
Yeah, I think neutrality must be an option.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna do outro. Thanks for being here, guys.
All right.
I'll be back in a few minutes if you're still here. If not, have a wonderful week, and we'll see you later in the wonderful sector of Olympus.
Adios.
Bye, stream.
Hello, everyone. Glad you all could be here. A bit heavy today. We learned some very, very interesting facts about our world, and ones we will probably cause some of us to lose some sleep. I'm excited that we got to reveal some things, though. That's always one of my most fun parts for me, when we get to actually see the world unfold before us, and how vast it can be, because there's still so many other things going on. So glad you all could be here. If you're watching this on YouTube, you know how to do all the things to help me out. If you're watching this on Twitch, you also know how to do all the things to help me out. So, without further ado, may you always pass your saving throws. May you always have enough stasis stim. And as always, try not to get turned into an MES zombie. Goodbye, everybody.